On behalf of Pat and Susan, it's my honor to say a few things about the census this year. We look at the 100 largest public companies in Massachusetts, look at their women directors and executive officers. This is the 15th year that we've authored this report. This year, as you've heard, Ernst & Young, in addition to everything else they've done for the Boston Club, has designed and produced the program. So this is just another thank you to EY. So what have we seen in 15 years? Between 2003 and 2017, the number of board positions held by women directors in these 100 companies increased from 74 to 166. The percentage of board seats held by women rose from 9% to 19.2%. We went from 50 companies with all male boards to 16. And the number of companies with 3 or more women directors has gone from 4 to 23. I want to also let you know that 2020 Women on Boards, which is one of our partner organizations, has just reached its goal of 20% of women on the boards of Fortune 1000 companies, 3 years ahead of schedule. So that's really very nice. Now, these figures may sound pretty good, but really, it's taken 15 years to get to this point. Only 28.6% of all new independent directors of the Census companies were women. And the comparable figure for the S&P 500, according to Spencer Stuart, was 36%. Better, but still much too low. Unless the pace of board refreshment and diversification speeds up dramatically, we won't reach anything close to parity until our grandchildren are sitting in this room. And with respect to women holding executive officer positions, the picture is even bleaker. And when you look at the census, you'll see that, which is really why the program for this year's Salute is really extremely timely and important. So what can we do to accelerate the pace of change? There are probably a lot of things, but let me suggest a few. One, celebrate and support those census companies like TJX, American Tower, Boston Private, State Street, Vertex Pharmaceuticals that have 3 or more women directors. They serve as role models for companies that don't yet get it. Secondly, celebrate and support institutional investors like Walden Asset Management, Trillium, State Street Global Advisors, Vanguard, BlackRock, and members of the 30% Coalition who are successfully bringing major shareholder pressure on companies with no women directors or only one woman on their board. When money talks, companies pay attention. And third, vote your own proxies. Vote no on slates of nominees where the boards lack diversity. Which brings me to the issue of full disclosure, which is the topic of our report's special analysis. You can't very well exercise your proxy in a meaningful way if companies don't provide full and clear information about their boards, their approach to corporate governance, how they go about board refreshment. When companies identify their directors by their first and middle initials, when they don't include headshots, when they don't include anything or just boilerplate about how gender, racial, and ethnic diversity figure into the nominating process, When they don't include clear information about the age and length of tenure of their directors, it can take a lot of work for the average shareholder to get this information. And we certainly know that because we look at all these things for 100 companies every year. That's why this year we've highlighted 6 companies, including Raytheon and American Tower, whose proxy statements start out with excellent summaries of these facts. Right up front, they make it easy for us to understand what's important to them in terms of corporate governance and board diversity, among other things. If the SEC or stock exchanges required all listed companies to include such information in their proxy statements, those with homogeneous boards would be forced to consider or reconsider their own governance and board succession processes. In the absence of such a rule, however, we can only celebrate those companies that are leading by example. A growing number of our Census companies are starting to do just that. And here's hoping that many more will follow their lead.